This
Okay,
conference will
so
now be recorded.
we're starting late, but this I think is good content. Um, so you just don't, because I see so many people talking about, 'cause, I buy a lot of marketing material, and I
Right.
see so many people talking about the whole uh, deal with hashtags, and you're just saying that it's a good look, but it's not crazy important.
Right. It's a good look. It's not, I'm not gonna say not it's not important. It is important to add hashtags, but not too many. Okay. So if you look at some people's ads, they have maybe like a whole paragraph just for hashtags. And it's just crazy. One of the you can I think there's something that you can actually research to see what are um the most important hashtags, or what are the most useful hashtags to use, you know what I mean? So you can research that, but you don't need a lot. You just need a few, and you can put your main hashtags in your profile, on your profile screen. And that's what I have. Like, I'll have CPNs, trade lines, you know um credit repair. They're right there in my profile. So if anyone searches that particular hashtag, my profile, my Instagram page is going to pop up anyway. So
Okay.
that's important. Yeah.
No, that's a good look. That's actually very valuable. And you don't bother paying anybody to do this for you. You just do it yourself.
I just do it myself. I'm so see with me in marketing, I hate to pay someone to do something that I can definitely do. And besides, people need credit repair so much. And like, if your credit, most of the time when I talk to someone that does want to market for me, I'm bartering, Pascal. We're gonna barter before I pay cash for anything. So most
Right.
of the time they need your services for something that you're doing anyway. And that's what I like to do with business owners. I like to barter. Another thing is, you have to be very careful, because if a girl, like, okay, so you have these people that have these pages that, if you scroll down her page, it's about her and her body. But she has freaking 50K followers, and she's marketing for to post ads for you. I have them a lot. They in my inbox a lot. But I'll first thing I'm going to look is at your page. If your page is about dancing, if you have more views on your videos of you dancing and shaking your behind, and I look at your ads that you're posting for other people, they have maybe a third of the views. I'm not going to even use you, because people are not coming to your page for business. They're coming to your page for
Right.
entertainment.
For entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to be careful of. Now, if you have a person who has in their they have a business page, they're marketing business, not marketing their bodies or anything like that, it works better that way. It works better that way. I have not had much success from one or two people that I have went out there and just used them just to see how it's going to work. It doesn't work. It does, because people are not coming to that page for that. They literally see your ad and they keep scrolling. They're looking for booty, ass, and titties. That's it.
Yeah. So you're looking for people that are offering some sort of business content, whatever that might be.
Correct. Yes, correct.
I've had people say that they've done well with people that are doing life experience stuff. So they'll
Uh,
put their ad with some of these young guys, they've built up like 1 million followers, but it's in because they're not trying to sell anything particular other than sell you some ads. You know what I mean?
right.
So they will build up a whole like multi vacation portfolio, life experience kind of stuff, because or food or anything that the average or general populace has a love for, stuff you can find on HG Network. You know what I mean? Travel.
Right.
People love travel, so they might have 1 million people that are following their travel blog, but their biggest thing is, hey, we can sell your ads, because they don't, they're not making money because of the travel, Instagram
Right.
page, I should say. So what do you think about that type of thing?
I think that's it. I think that would probably work out. I think that's interesting. You know what? One thing I've been thinking about is contacting. You know how you can look on your you have like your web page, right? And you have those running banners on the side.
Uh-huh.
Now those work
Yeah.
well. Those work well too. They work very well as well. If you can get some, and I think you can actually I don't know how to who you would need to contact in order to make that happen, but for most part, people that have good traffic going to their website, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to work something out to where if they click on your page, you can be able to make money off of that. And that's what I'm working on now. Working with several different people that have good traffic going to their websites, whether it's a real estate company or like different auto places, different places like that, trying to work with them and say, hey, could you at least,
I'll send you a bunch of companies that do that.
Okay, perfect.
You're so kind in giving up so much information. There's a bunch of companies that do that. There's two different advertising sources. One is they'll obviously you can go on somebody's they'll sell you their list, and then the other is a lot of the same companies that will sell you a list. I think there's a company Axiom, or I have to dig it up for you, but all they're doing is they share profit with the company. So companies go, hey, I want to make money on my website, and they're like, sure, you place these ads. And, it's kind of similar to Google ad, but it's just through these other private companies. And you can, just like with Google, you can pick the companies you want to be on. I'm sorry, the type of websites that you want to be on. But these companies, they do it in a different kind of way, because they're dealing with I don't know, a lot of websites that just don't want to deal with Google, quite frankly. And they also pay more to people. And so therefore, you can, like there's you can run ads on, what is it, like the credit blogs? What is it called though? There's a specific term. The site is old as day. It's the credit. I'm just going to call it the credit blogs because I can't think of what it's actually called right now. But you can run ads on there. It's just anything, very, very niche down, very specific to whatever your business may be. So it's a good look. It's a really good look. Yeah, I'll send that to you, Tanya, for sure. Anywho, I am going to get this started. So here's the deal. Are you there, Tanya?
Yeah, I'm here. My computer died on me. I'm sorry.
You know what? That's funny because mine did too, because of inactivity. It's just sitting here on the screen. And so it died too. So while you were talking earlier, I had to log back into the thing. So it worked out. And excuse me. So anyways, everybody that is on the call, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some stuff. And we've taken up, like, I don't know, almost a half hour, but it's like, I think really hella good content. So thank you, Tanya. And once again, I got a crap load of stuff that I'm going to send you with companies that will help you with what you're talking about doing. It's worked for a long time, so why not give it a shot? So today, what we're going to just do is kind of make this kind of, I don't have any speakers coming on today other than Tanya. Tanya's awesome, sharing her info. So today I just want to kind of go over, the business credit stuff we're always talking about. We already know the most important thing, right? Get your personal credit right, whether it's through yourself or me or even, Tanya, give up your information real quick. So if somebody wants your help with some credit repair, they can call you. Are you there? Tanya? I think I lost Tanya again. Tanya. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll ask Tanya later on, because I think we lost her for a minute. If she wants, and anybody on this call, I will if you want her help and assistance with something, she's going to charge you for it, which she should do, because you should always be willing to pay for stuff that you want. So, maybe she'll help you out with, whatever. So you might want to pay her to help you with getting your Instagram stuff or getting your credit done. It doesn't matter to me. So today, not everybody is online. A lot of people are actually on their call, on their cell phone, so you can't really see my screen. I'm sharing my screen with people, but those who are, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, and those other individuals, I'll just try to do my best to describe stuff to you. So what I wanted to go over is how I make money, right? So a lot of people think, I'm making money and it's basically just what I do. And that's actually the furthest thing from the truth. How I make money, and even, I've set myself up so that even when I'm not, marketing in a heavy way, that I'm still able to make money. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I have brokers. I have, other people that are buying whatever my service is that I'm offering from me. And every time I do a business, and every time I've had a successful business, quite honestly, it tends to work out better when, even if I don't know squat about the business I'm marketing, as part of my marketing, I always, from the very beginning, have a component where I'm telling people, oh yeah, you can get it from me also wholesale, right? Because for me, like in the CPN business, for as an example, and Tanya can attest to this, I'm quick to make a deal with somebody if they're consistent and they're willing to give me, $300, $400, $500 at a time. Yeah. Or if, and the reason being is, if you think about it, if you had just, 2 people, 4 people, 5 people a month that are buying from you at wholesale, that's like, that's like $2,500 a month that I don't even have to think about that's going to come my way. So let's say somebody like Tanya might only buy every 3 months or something like that, or every 2 months or once a month, whatever the number is, depending on her particular volume. My thing is that somebody else is going to fill her slot and buy a chunk of numbers, whether it's $250 or $500 worth from me in the course of the month. And so what I'm trying to get across to you guys is that the most important thing you can do is, beyond getting your personal credit straightened out so you can go after business credit, and beyond going after business credit, is if you're going to create a business for yourself, you want a legitimate way of making money. You've heard Tanya talking. It's just marketing, getting yourself out there. But what I'm going to tell you is, in addition to that, in addition to marketing, getting that one-time client, it's hugely important that you position yourself. So no matter what it is you're offering, if you're offering, let's say credit repair, that you have a wholesale component to your credit repair program. Hugely important, because even when I'm slow, even when things are slow for me, let's say I might be gone on vacation or whatever the case is, I will still have money being generated, because I am not the end. I'm not the, I have people that are calling me and buying my stuff at wholesale, which means that A, I'm still making profit, and B, I'm not having to worry about marketing. So like in the last several months, I've been working on another project with my wife. So I haven't really been marketing that much because, I have my mind somewhere else, and I'm still making money, not as much money, but I'm still making money month in and month out. And the reason I'm able to make money month in and month out, it might not be a lot, but I did some math, and just without any marketing, without anything, in the last 16 days, without nothing, 16 days, I did about, I think it was right about $5,000. No, I'm sorry, that was 13 days, about $5,000. And, it's okay. It's admittedly, It's not like, oh my God, it's killer money. It's because it's, $5,000 goes very, very fast. But the thing is that I was able to generate that capital without even thinking about it, without even, and honestly, that was just in my CPN business. So let me clarify that. That was just from CPNs that I didn't have to sell to one person, because other people did the referrals to me, which I make $150 every time somebody calls, and then I have a couple of people that sell trade lines. They send their people to me, right? And for their people, it's only $75 per person. Because they come from a specific company, and but for me it's just a win-win, right? Because I once again, I haven't had to put any effort into that. Does that make sense to you guys? It's all about how can I multiply myself? How can I duplicate myself? So the most money I've ever made in my existence, it was when I was in the medical supply business. I mean year over year. So at that time when I was in the medical supply business, I was making ridiculous. For me, it was ridiculous sums of money without doing anything to make it happen. And it wasn't because I was out selling people. I found people that were able to, that were salespeople, basically. They were already in the industry, and all I had to do was just say, well, I have my provider number. I have my Medicare and provider number. I can do Medicare. I can do Medicaid. I can do VA. And these people, I just gave them a good piece of the money, which allowed me to generate, what I would consider to be good money, right? So, it's all about positioning yourself.
Right.
You can work really, really hard, or you can work really, really smart. and I'm going to tell you guys, that the hard work part of it, it doesn't have to be digging ditches. The hard work part of what you're doing needs to be, the heavy lifting should come with your mind. The heavy lifting should come with, how can I, or what am I offering, basically, that other people, that there's enough people that are interested in. So, like, I'm going to use credit repair as an example. Everybody and their mama wants to get their credit repaired, right?
Right.
And so we know that to be a fact, because people are running around with shitty credit. And so then you have to determine, how hard is credit repair to do? And everybody, I don't know if everybody on this call, but a lot of people on this call and all the other calls that we've had, I've given out, information where you can go and start your own credit repair business without utilizing anybody, right? I mean, you can go get the softwares and all that kind of stuff, but let's say you don't have the money for all that. And I tell you where you can go, which is get the stupid book, Good Credit is Sexy. Get all of her letters, at the Credit Info Center. Just buy the letters, buy the book, all that crap, and just, start your business. Because once again, I stress this all the time. There's not a business that I've ever started where I knew much about that business before starting it. I would learn about the business, number one. I would learn that people are saying that there's money being made in it. I would do my due diligence to see that if it's true that money is being made in it. And if it was, right, then I would just jump into that business, because, I always work, or I try to always work on the 80-20 rule, which should always be 80% of your time should be based upon the do. 80% of your time should be based upon doing something in the business that you're interested in, or in the, I don't give a crap what it is. Your 80% of your time should be on the do of a thing, right? And then 20% of your time should be spent on learning. And if you're doing it any other way, you're screwing yourself, right? Because the facts are that when I started learning how to do credit repair, I had one thing in my inventory that said I could do credit repair. And that was this lady's book, Rachel Walsh, who has the book Good Credit is Sexy. And I literally was running around telling people I could do your credit repair because I knew that my fat butt knows how to read. And I said this before, the fact that I know how to read puts me ahead of the game, right? I can tell people I can do almost anything. And if I can't, I can find someone I can pay that can do it for me until I can learn how to do it. So there's no excuses, you know. When I got into the medical supply industry, you know, back in the day, when I got into the pager store back in the day, when I got into the cell phone business back in the day, you know, when I got into real estate, you know, back in the day, you know, none of these things that I succeeded in that I have an inch of knowledge in prior to saying, oh shit, people are making money and let me go and see what I can do with this. It had very little knowledge. Everything came from the doing of a thing. And then it's almost like magic, but when you're actually out doing a thing, you know, you start meeting people that can help you do your thing better, that can help you advance, right? And so what I want to explain to everybody is that there are so many free services out there. You just have to be moving towards your goal, whatever that goal is. If you really want to make money, I can guarantee, not even just promise you, but I can guarantee anyone that's listening to what I'm telling you, you can make an extra $5, $10, $20, $30,000 before the year's out if you just do one thing, and that is start doing something. I don't give a shit what it is. Start doing something, and I promise you, you can, you know, because that's just how the universe works. That's just how shit works. You know, you got to start. You start it, and you start meeting people. So when I was, as an example, in the medical supply industry, and they were doing a lot of changes, and Medicare was getting ripped off left and right. Like, you know, I have a buddy of mine, he basically just retired because, you know, they released his money. You know, he had like $6-7 million that Medicare had paid him. And, you know, they say not all of his paperwork was right. He says it was, and it ended up being that they didn't follow through. So, you know, X amount of years later, they end up having to release all his money. So he's done. You know, and I'm not saying do things in a foul manner. I'm just saying that you got to do something. You got to just move forward. And what you're going to find is as you're moving forward are things like this. So there are so many people that say, oh, you know, I need a way to make money. The government, because, you know, a lot of people don't know, but, you know, I was a government contractor and still technically still am a government contractor. So, you know, there are centers out there that the government pays for to help you do business with the government. And every state in the union has what's referred to as a PTAC center, right? And so when you go, it's called a Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And I don't care, you want to do janitorial work, you want to wash windows, you want to sell boats and planes to the government, then you just go to the PTAC center. It's free. It's absolutely 100% free because they get paid by the Department of Defense to help you do business with the government. And if I don't know what else can be more simple, right? Where there's someone who works or gets contracted. Usually it's like a junior college in your area, but there's someone who gets contracted with the government to help you, right, as an individual, learn how to do business with them. And then if you're a minority, you get extra points. If you're a woman and a minority, you get extra points. If you're just a woman, you still get extra points. If you're in a certain area, if you're in a certain zip code, it's even better for you, right? So there's all these different things that they're doing to give you avenue, to give you big ups, to help you push. And you know what I'm saying, that you got to, you know, go out and say, oh my God, I want to sell, you know, tanks or some bullshit. You have to say, okay, well, look, what is it that I can get my hands on? And what's even more trippy to me is that if you get a contract with the government, and I know this for a fact because I did it, I got a contract cleaning it's called the Roybal Courthouse, the federal courthouse downtown LA. So I got a contract cleaning the granite. There's like all these granite walls throughout the whole building, and I didn't know jack about cleaning granite, right? And so all I did was talk to a buddy of mine who was in construction, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know this guy," and I hired them to do the job, and
Right.
I'm the one who got the check. You see what I'm saying? I can't stress that enough. I knew nothing, right? But I knew that there was a contract that was open. I applied for the contract. I bid on the contract, and what's even worse is I underbid myself because I didn't even bother doing the due diligence on it, which is stupid. But I still made some money, right? And then what's even funnier is that once that contract was done and I hired this guy and his team of people to come through and actually do the work, the only thing I needed from them was because you're in a secured building, is everybody had to give me their IDs, and then they had to run through a background check, basically through the DOJ. So, but once that was done, they came in, they did all the cleaning. I stood there and supervised because I had to be on site, and bingo bango, that was the end of the story. But for that part, but what's even funnier is once that contract was over, they turned around and said, "Oh yeah, you know what, you guys did a really good job. So what I need you to do is we have another little contract to come and clean the vents." And I forgot what it was. It wasn't that much, but it was money I didn't have. You get what I'm saying? And once again, I didn't know anything other than the fact that they were issuing out money, and the government the U.S. government pays out more money for paper clips, pencils, paper, anything that you can think of, And as an example of that, my nephew was in the Air Force, and he was an officer in the Air Force, and because of what his specific MOS, what he used to do is he would buy stuff, and so there was a lady that he ended up meeting that they were buying computers from, and come to find out from a conversation with this lady, she was in Florida in a wheelchair working from her house, and they were buying computers from her.
Wow.
Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
She was in a wheelchair selling computers, and so mind you, all she was buying the computers from Dell, and then subsequently through her contract selling them to to my nephew's department. So it's just, there's so much money out here, but we all get stuck on stupid, and we all get stuck in this thing of I need to know some stuff before I do some stuff. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. It is. Just know 10%. If you say, "Oh, I want to do credit repair," buy a book, something, and then just read the book. At least, do it like I did. At least scan through the book, right? And then at least you have enough knowledge or enough whatever to be able to talk and say, "Hey, this is what credit repair is, and this is how I can help you." And then, if you get to a certain point, like we still do credit repair, but I charge for some people might consider a ridiculous price. Last year we were charging $1,500 a person in getting clients, right, with no marketing, but getting clients. And so now this year I charge $2,000 a person because exactly. I call it's credit. I'm sorry?
I say exactly. I mean, that's good.
It's really good because you know what? For me, I've done the $500 people, pain in the ass.
I was going to say I was going to say the exact same thing. The people that pay the least give you the most problems.
The most problems. The most problems. And it's bizarre how that works. But I'm telling you, you know what? For my clients that pay me $5,000 to help them build their business credit, I don't even hear from them. It's
Right.
the funniest thing. I gotta periodically call them up to say, hey, I was just checking on you. I was just, you know what I mean? It should be the
Right.
other way around. They broke bread, gave me $5,000, and I gotta call them to find out if they're okay. Because I don't hear from them. And it's not just some of them; it's all of them. The people that paid me the 1,500, now 2,000 for the credit repair, I barely hear from them. I barely hear from them. I had this guy. He just gave me his last $1,400, $1,500, $1,499 on his business credit program. Catching up with this dude is like, oh my god, is the worst trying to catch up with this cat. I will call him and leave messages and text him and whatever, and you know, so I want everyone to understand that there's so much money out here, and let's get this money, y'all. Let's get this money because it's not hard. It's not that difficult. If you're interested in doing something with the government, because the government pays good money, go to a PTAX center. All you have to do is just Google PTAX center, and it's usually held at a college, right? And don't go through one of those ads, the ones that the people that are advertising at the top of the listing for the PTAX center, because those are people that basically they want either part of your contract, they want some money somehow, some way. When you don't have to do that, you can go directly through the PTAX center direct. And other than that, where I got a lot of help from back in the day was from the SBA. The SBA has so many programs, it's ridiculous. And what's even more important is well, it's not more important, but it's just as important, is that the SBA can help you get money for your business, right? And if you go to the FBI, if you go to the SBA's website, it's just real simple, sba.gov. They even have a free guide on their front page, which and it says very clearly, it says start and grow your business, want to be an entrepreneur, learn how to get started, learn how to get started your own business in 10 steps, and then you print their little guide. It's just, look, y'all, this is getting money is not that difficult. Getting money is not that difficult. If you get your personal credit cleaned up, and subsequently, after getting your personal credit cleaned up, instead of applying for more personal credit cards, if you already have a decent credit file, start applying for business credit cards. I can't stress that enough. I was talking to someone, actually a client of mine, a young lady, and her score is nice and high now. She can get any damn thing she wants, and she needed a new refrigerator. And instead of getting a Lowe's or Home Depot card in her business name, which she should have, she went and added more debt to her personal, which it has a negative effect initially, right? So it pushed her score down a bit, because they gave her I don't know what it was. Let's call it $5,000 in credit. And that initially, not in the long term, but initially it hurts her score, which makes it.
I'm sorry, Pascal. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What was that, Pascal? What was the PTAX Center? What was that acronym for? What was that? What are those words for that? Hello.
I think we lost them. I don't know. I don't hear anything. Oh, there you go.
Hi, you guys. You know what? I'm because of the weather out here has been really rainy, and I guess I'm having a lot of tech issues because of that. So sorry about that. I kind of dropped off there for a hot sec. But what I'm trying to get across is that there's so much out here. Get your credit right. Go after business lines of credit cards. Getting your credit right, If you want to pay somebody like myself a couple of grand, or do it yourself, or pay Tanya whatever her fees are, you can make it happen. It's just that simple.
Hey, Pastor,
Bottom line is, I'm sorry?
I was asking when your phone cut out and it really cut out. You were saying something about the PTAC Center. I was trying to figure out what that acronym stood for.
It stands for Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Procurement Technical Assistance Center.
I appreciate
Procurement Technical Assistance. No, it's not a big deal. That's what I'm here for. And when you go to the PTAC, it's all free to you. So they will help you do virtually everything. Now, what I will say to you is that prior to going to the PTAC Center, you may be interested in getting your corp set up. That's going to be a good thing for you. So you already have that structure, because what they are going to want, as a rule of thumb, is for you to have your business. A lot of people will walk in the door with without a corp, and they're just going to tell you, go get a corp. You're going to want to set up your corporation. Now, I'm going to just say this to you, and it's going to be up to you all what you do. But in my opinion, between a corporation and an LLC, in my opinion, you're going to want to do a corporation. So I've explained that numerous times on why. So I'm not going to go through all that right now. But if it were me and I were you, I would set up a corporation. I'm not a tax person. I'm none of that BS. But I do believe in corporations because of the tax benefits, and also a LLC is a limited liability company. So LLC, although it is a legal business entity, it is not a corporation. An LLC is a combination of a bunch of different things, being, I'm not going to go through all this crap again. So just do your own due diligence or take my word for it, either one. But if I were you, do a corporation before you go into a PTAC center. Or you know what, just make sure you're going to do a corporation, but don't hesitate. Go to a PTAC center now. Let me reverse that. Go to a PTAC center now and find out what they can do for you, because procrastination is a huge, huge killer. And if we procrastinate and we don't go right here, right now, that's an issue for us, right? So let's just go. Look up the PTAC Center and go. Look up your local SBA and just go. SBA, typically within the SBA offices, they have a core office, and basically core is it's core score. Anyways, all it is just individuals that are retired business people and retired executives, and as their way of giving back, they will coach and help you with your business as a part of working with the a small business administration. So if there's all these resources, you guys. I charge $250 an hour. Okay. You can pay somebody like me $250 an hour, or you can, but true enough, I do different stuff than what they do, but it's still a lot of the same. So I'm trying to give you guys on these calls the absolute best information that I have available to give you, and I'm just saying to you, these are resources that everybody should be utilizing. And there's something else, and I tell everybody that I deal with as a client, somebody that's paying me either $5,000 for my business credit building program, or $2,000 for my credit repair, or for any of my other businesses in this arena, or the $250 an hour. And I do I'd say a 4-hour minimum, but realistically I'll do like a 2-hour minimum. But my point is, overall, is that whether it's any of my businesses, I'll just say that, you got to start. You just got to you got to make something occur. not everything is going to work out, but who gives a shit? You just got to do anyway. And if it doesn't work out, at least you know, because you went through the business, right? You went through it. You gave it your all. Even, I've had a lot of businesses that have worked, but they just financially have not worked as well as I needed them to. So I'll push that to the side. I've had businesses that just don't work at all. Whether it's me or the business, I don't know, but I just push it to the side and keep it moving. That's how I believe I've had, varying levels of success. You guys have to literally just start. Just start. And if you're already doing something, expand yourself by expanding not your business well, let me say it like this. I mentioned earlier how I am able to create monies without having to market or do stuff, because anytime I start a business, if that business has a component or the availability to sell to other people at a discounted price so they can turn around and sell my services, I do it. We're starting in front of me right now. I have and out on my patio, I have 200 pieces of dry cleaned clothing, right? Vintage clothing, because my wife is I'm trying to help her start a business, a vintage clothing business, right? So I have 200 pieces of dry clean clothing. I have bundles outside that we haven't had dry cleaned yet. And so my cost factor for that is under $5 per piece. And the thing is, in our marketing that we're just starting, because it's a new business, in our marketing for that business, I'm putting, like the listings that my wife is starting to put up on eBay, we're putting wholesale available, because I might not sell jack, but I'm telling you, someone else might say, well, if I can buy your pieces at $6 a piece and they're dry cleaned and ready to go, and if I can, and I only have to buy 10 pieces, that's $60. It's worth it to somebody, because, a lot of these pieces, $15 to $30, $40 per piece that it's selling for online. So once again, my thought process is, I can be out there by myself, on my own, or I can enlist other people to help me move my stuff, to help me create money every day. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so no one's answering, so I'm going to assume it makes sense. You anything that you're doing, almost anything that you're doing, how can you make it the most profitable? How can you enlist other people to help you? So the most successful people that I see, it doesn't matter who it is, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, if you watch the little movie or you whatever, it wasn't what he did. It was the fact that platform, just like all these other platforms, invite other people to promote their stuff for free. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Facebook is only Facebook, not because of something Mark Zuckerberg did or his partners. It's Facebook because they invited other people in to promote their stuff. Instagram, YouTube, all this bullshit. They would not be Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook and Twitter if other people did not come in and share their stuff. Basically do all the footwork for them. Now, I'm not saying that's how you should, our businesses are different than that, but it still has that component, and you should always work that component. I can't, since we were talking with Tanya about credit repair earlier, I'm going to kind of stick with that theme. If you're doing credit repair and you're not offering like wholesale prices to somebody else that's in the credit repair game, you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. Right? If you're doing CPNs and you're not selling CPNs wholesale, you're doing something wrong. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know if you're selling cars, if you're buying and selling cars and you don't have a wholesale component because somebody else might want to make a little money, you're doing something wrong. That's just my opinion, but that's what has worked for me. And I'm just telling you, my fat ass eats every day, right? So I'm just saying. Look, if anybody has any questions, I know this call was kind of just, all over the place to some degree, but I'm trying to just impart as much information. I don't want it to just be about business credit, because I think I've had plenty of speakers on talking about business credit and plenty of speakers talking about personal credit. I think everybody on this call gets that, understands that to some degree. And if you don't, you have my number. Call. We can chop it up. But it's all about how can we make money, you guys? How can we all make some money, right? So I want us to all be on the same page, and I want people to participate in these calls, like Tanya was so sweet and kind to do. So I'm gonna give Tanya a lot of love when we get off the phone. She just doesn't even know. She got love coming from me.
You always give me a lot of love. Always, always, always.
Well, you got some more coming. How's that?
Tanya, would you be willing to share? Tanya, would you be willing to share your contact number for tax stuff?
Contact number
Tanya?
for. I hear. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I think you mentioned that you do taxes, right?
Correct.
Right. I said, would you mind sharing your contact for tax services?
No, not at all. As far as like, what do you mean? Like, what software are we using, or?
No. Your contact information so we can call you for tax services.
Sure. Not a problem. I can definitely do that. It's
okay. What is it?
My phone number is area code 281 644 9751. I wanted to touch on what Pascal was saying about like outsourcing.
I didn't get those last four. 644.
Right, 9751.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna type it in too. But it's so crazy that you made mention about doing wholesale. This is exactly what I started doing. I have a broker program, right? So my thought process is, we don't know the same people. You know what I mean? Like, I have people that contact me a lot, right? And they're like, I want to know about the a credit repair business. I'm like, sure. I have a broker program where you can pay me $3,500 and I will set your entire company up. Like, I'll set everything up for you. You can become your own credit repair entity. Like, it's crazy that it works. It really, really works. It really works. And my thought, I wanted to have at least some mini Tanyas, like in some major cities. I do too many consults per day. It tires me out. So I started thinking, like, let me try to see if I can start building some little mini Tanyas, and have people where they can actually do the consultations. I can pay them for, commissions. I have two different tiers. I have a marketing agents and I have brokers. Okay. So the marketing agents, they go out there and they market. They post their results, they market, and one of the things that I mandate is that you have to have good credit. Or if you don't have good credit, let me working on your credit. Because how can you market a product that you don't know nothing about? You need to know about how the services work. So we start working on their own credit. They market their results, and I pay them a 10% commission on all paid clients. But to go further than that, for the brokers, I set them up everything, your website. I show them, what software I use for the credit repair, because I use a software now for credit repair. I set them up the marketing. I set them up everything. And it works, and I give them like lifetime mentorships, and it works for me because guess what? If they don't want to do the legwork, we can do it for them. So I offer my credit repair service is $1,300. My brokers, they have a wholesale price at $400. Okay, so they can pay me $400, and they still make a very good profit on their own. So it works for them. Some people just don't want to do the work. They don't like to do it. And that's fine for me because everyone's still making money. They still come back to me for trade lines. I give them wholesale prices on trade lines, wholesale prices on CPN numbers. And it's starting to work better for me. It leaves some time. It eases up some time for me so I can be able to focus on some other projects that I want to do as well. So it's crazy that this call was about that. So it makes me feel like, yeah, that's confirmation. I'm headed in the right direction. So I was happy to hear about that.
Well, you know what? I mean, I can't stress it enough. You're living proof that the wholesale thing works, right? Because once again, you and I have been doing business for 3 years. So, and thank you for that, by the way. I appreciate your money. But it just, I'm telling you, everybody, that 1 month, when I was really promoting the becoming a broker for the CPN business, a couple of years ago, a few years back, I think it was. I don't know how long ago. Just that 1 month, on my PayPal alone, I did $16,000 in business because I was promoting the crap out of pushing the broker program for the CPNs, because I was just like, you know what? I remember waking up one morning and saying to my wife, it was either waking up one morning or going to bed. But anyway, my wife and I are there, and I remember saying, I wonder if I could raise $50,000, and I did the math, and basically, it was $2,500 I was charging at that point, and I don't even know the math off the top of my head right now, but basically I was saying, $2,500 a person. If I can get X amount of people to do it, it'll be $50,000. And so I think it was 20 people, right? 20?
Right. I remember that.
So, I was like, I wonder if this will, and let me tell you, I did not make the $50,000, but I made 16. Wow. And so you feel me though, right? Because the point is that, I would have liked to have made the 50, but that $16,000 was lovely. That $16,000 was it was like, oh my God, this is like a lovely month, because and here's the magic of it all. To be very, very honest with you guys, the magic of it all is that when I don't care who it is, you see all these gurus online and they're selling all this different crap. Their cost factor is, if they're selling something for $5,000, believe me, their cost factor, other than their time, is probably $500. That's just it. And because, and I know that because I experienced that, myself. If I'm selling something other than my time, my cost factor is a fraction of that.
Right.
Does that show you that that's the power of multiplying yourself, because you can make money on every level of it. It's so important for people to start understanding that you nor I are any different than all these so-called gurus that are making millions of dollars out there. It's just all about the do, and whatever it is you're doing. Like I mentioned just a little bit ago, clothes. I mean, somebody was like, oh yeah, this person, they're making a few $1,000s a month selling clothes, and then when I found out I could buy the clothes for $1, it's 100 pounds of clothes for $100. I'm like, I'm in there like swimwear. You know what I mean? So I bought 500 pounds of clothes, $500. As we go through them, we get them dry clean because I'm not washing that stuff. We get it dry clean, and boom, my wife starts putting it online. So even if it's just an extra, anywhere between, for me personally, anything between $2,000 and up is acceptable. If it's under $2,000, then for me, right, for somebody else, they might go, okay, cool. But if it's under $2,000, then it's not really a worthwhile thing for me personally. But for a lot of individuals, $2,000. But let me get back to the point. Even with this, my objective is I have to have a wholesale component. I have to have a component that allows me that allows people to buy from me in bulk. Because I'm dealing with less people. I make less profit, but it's less headache. And once you get people that are buying from, like with the the CPN game, I get enough people buying from me. Once again, that even without me marketing, it's a $4,600 10-day period of time. I think it's about 13 days. So I'm just going to give it a span. I'm going to say between 13 and 15 days, I guess. But for me personally, sitting at my house, which I'm doing right now, sitting on my sofa in my living room, for me to be able to generate that is not bad for me. And it has to do with the fact that I've multiplied myself, like Tanya is doing now, multiplying herself, because there's more money in it. Because you're one person. You only have so much of a budget. You can only do so much by yourself. But if you multiply yourself, it's a win, 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 win. Give enough room for somebody else to make money, you would be surprised. If you're doing good business and you tell your clients, hey, refer somebody and I'll give you XYZ dollars, you'll be surprised if you take care of those people, that how many people they will refer to you, because it might be $50 or something. It might be $200. But just to get that money, people will refer people to you. And what do you care, right? Because that's money that you got that you didn't have to go out and get. So I don't care what the business is. If you become an expert in doing business with the government, and if you don't then turn around and create an ebook like buddy Chris and mine were doing for a while, create information on how to do business with the government, you're doing it wrong, because that's extra money. Once you learn something, you need to A, continue selling that thing, and then B, show other people how to do it. Don't be greedy. Don't go, oh my God, because you'll make far more selling your. I'm not going to say that. That's not necessarily true. You will make good money. I'll say it like that by reselling what you learned, what it took you time to learn. So that's it. Does anybody else have anything to say or add in?
No, I appreciate the call so much, Pascal. Like always, you always give me very good information. I love you to death, hon.
Oh, well, thank you so very much for participating. I'm serious biz. And I got something for you before the day's out, my dear. I'm going to first, I'm going to send you that information. I got to dig it up in my email. But there's a ton of companies that do what we were talking about earlier, which is placing your ads on other people's websites. And so some of those, I think, they're in courses. So I'll just send you the entire course with the login information if that's how it has to be done. But it's good stuff. But you know what? I want to chop it up with you later on when you have time about the Instagram thing. Just, off this call, whenever you have time for me. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope that you all were able to glean something out of this call. But I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pascal. I'll talk to you soon, love. Thank you. I gotta go.
All right. Take care. You too. Right. Bye-bye. All right. If there's no other questions. I'm sorry?
That's me on the call, Pascal. I'm sorry. I'm going to hang up. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Take care. No, all right. So if there's no other questions, we're off this call. And thank you, everybody, for joining the call. I greatly appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Pascal.
All right. Did you get anything out of the call?
At the beginning, I think I missed about 5-7 minutes when you were talking to the first guest, and I didn't really know what you guys talked about it. But then I kind of I would say, put it together after he went through some of the details. But I would like you to maybe ask you those questions later on, if that's possible.
Okay.
And thank you for the coaching. Coaching is fantastic.
Okay.
I really like
So
it.
real quick, you know, I got to get together with you anyway.
Yes.
About that.
Yes. Let me know when.
Well, I mean, today is good if it's early.
Okay. I have my
Your appointment?
my appointment at around 2:00. After that, I would say maybe about 2 or 3 would be fine. I can meet you close to you to where you at.
You want, you know what? If you can do it this morning, I can come to you. If you can do it this morning.
Well, this morning I'm on my way to Torrance because I had stuff to do in there right now. But you know, you just give me an idea, man. Just wash your hand. Okay.
Okay. All right, sir.
Okay, thank you. You take care.
Call me when you have time.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. This call is done. Thank you, guys.